calculate the average and standard deviation, and then I really want to predict what kind of participants are expected in our back belt training program, or the age group of participant we are going to get in our back belt training program in the next 1 year. All right. So one by one, all of you can tell. Now, who is first? Suresha.
Yeah.
Tell me what is your age?
35.
Okay, 35. And then next, who is next?
Vikram,
Okay, Mr. Vikram, come on.
40.
40?
Yes.
40. 40. Okay. Then
Dhanush 38.
Dhanush age is 38.
Loganathan 33.
Loganathan.
Sachin,
Okay, then
Sachin 28.
28. Then
Suresh B 32.
Suresh B 32. Then
Nagarajan 31.
Nagarajan 31. Then
Venkatesh 38.
Venkatesh 38.
Yeah.
Okay, 38. Anyone else would like to participate? So I have,
We have covered. Everybody is covered.
yeah. We have,
Anjana 34.
okay. So that's Anna. So now I have a sample of 9 participants' age. How this data is going to be helpful, right? Now, what is the average age of the participants here?
54.
So what do you understand from this average? Suppose next batch when I conduct the training program, what kind of customers I need to target for my program? People around the age of 35. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Average is giving me a clue, no, on where to focus. What can happen in the future? Probably, next 1 year, whatever black belt training program we are going to conduct, people around the age group of 35 only are going to participate. So I will drive all my marketing efforts towards people in the age group around 35. Do you understand? Yes or no?
Yes.
Right. And now, with respect to the average age of 34.33, what is the deviation? That is written here. Deviation. 35 and 34.33. The difference is how much? 0.66. Right? That is called a deviation.
Yeah.
And now this deviation is actually summed up here. This deviation is summed up. And then after the deviation is summed up, I take the average deviation. And finally, I calculate the standard deviation. So the formula is very simple, right? And I think this is 1 second. Okay. So let us not worry about these values. I will explain using slides. So I've got average. I've got average and I've got standard deviation. So how much is the standard deviation coming here? 3.51. Average is 34.3 and standard deviation is 3.5. Using the average and standard deviation, I have calculated upper control limit, 44.86. Do you know how the upper control limit is arrived? Come on, just now we have covered the slides.
It is the what to say, 90.
No.
99.73%.
What is the
Average,
formula for
average plus minus 3 sigma.
Average plus 3 sigma is your upper control limit. That is how the 44.86 is calculated. Am I right? Average plus 3 sigma is 23.81. How is this information helpful to me? Normal distribution is telling me 99.73% of your data will lie between 23.8 and 44.86. Is it really true? Is there anybody here more than the age of 44.86? Anybody here?
No.
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 All of you are inside the upper control limit. Anybody below the age limit of 23.8?
No.
No.
This is true with this data because age is a continuous data that will follow normal distribution. Age is a continuous data that will follow normal distribution. If the sampling is done correctly without error, if the data is collected without error, two types of error possible. One is measurement error, another one is sampling error. If I don't commit measurement error and sampling error, my data, which is nothing but a sample, can help me predict the population very well. That means whomsoever going to attend our black belt training program for the next 1 year, their age group will be between 24 and 45. Am I correct with my statement? Yes or no?
Yes.
So I will make sure all our digital campaigns are targeted between 24 and 45 so that we can get more conversion. What is the point of targeting people less than the age of 23? They are not going to understand the importance of black belt and they are not going to join. Similarly, people above the age group of 45, they are also not going to probably join the program. Why? Because you are the real customers of the program. You are best representative of the population. The sample is done correctly and measurement is done correctly. The same sample can help you predict very well about the population. This is the beauty of normal distribution. We'll go to the presentation. So this is a case we had with your own age data, how the standard deviation and normal distribution will help in our business process. So anything you want to predict in any business is possible with average and standard deviation. For example, you want to understand, the depth of a river, which is, running for several kilometers. A river is running for several kilometers. How will you judge about the depth of the river? Will you be able to measure the depth of the river at each and every point? Possible or not possible?
Possible, but it is not required to check in every area. So we decide the deep point.
Several kilometers and you really can't, each and every
Yes.
you can't measure. Probably you will take some samples across the, the width and length of the river. Probably you will consider some important corner points. And on the corner points, you will measure, calculate the average, calculate the standard deviation. Now decide about the entire river, isn't it? How many dolphins are there in sea, in ocean? How will you calculate? Will you go and meet every dolphin in the sea and count the number?
Not possible.
You select a sample portion of the ocean and then find out how many dolphins are crossing. Right? Like that, you do it at multiple places and come to a conclusion. How do you come to a conclusion that so many dolphins are there? You calculate the average, calculate the standard deviation, and then apply the rule, isn't it? 99.73% of the population will be in this range. So this is how statistics is helping us. What proportion of products, what proportion of your services might fail? What proportion of your products will get rejected? You really don't have to produce and then calculate how many will be accepted and how many will be rejected. Even before starting your production, you can judge about the quality of the product. That is the beauty of normal distribution. It makes your business predictable. All that required is the average and standard deviation. Average and standard deviation from a representative sample. What is a representative sample? A sample that can speak the characteristics of the population. You have to pick up the sample in a specific way, in a particular way, such that the sample characteristics will reflect the population characteristics. You have to do it that way. So you must master sampling technique and as well as master the art of data collection, so that you will be able to collect the data without measurement error, without sampling error. No measurement error, no sampling error. Your sample will truly represent the population. Even before producing the product, you can estimate how much is going to be accepted and how much is going to be rejected. So what is your option now? What is the answer? Average is a measure of central tendency or variation.
It's a central tendency.
Standard deviation is a measure of
Consistency.
Variation.
Inconsistency.
Inconsistent.
higher the standard deviation, higher will be inconsistent.
Problem. Yeah.
Very good. What proportion of your data points are expected to lie inside control limit? What percentage of points will lie inside control limit?
68.27.
95.45.
Is the points called control limits means 2 sigma point or 3 sigma point?
99.73. 3 sigma.
2 sigma point. Control limits are 2 sigma point and 3 sigma are the specification limit.
No. You have completely misunderstood. I did not speak anything about specification limit.
Hmm.
Points which are 1 sigma away from the center or 1 sigma limit.
Hmm.
Which are 2 sigma away from the center are called warning limit. Points which are 3 sigma away from the center are called control limit.
Control limit. Okay.
So when you go to when you consider control limit, you are sure that 99.73%
1.3.
your process data will lie inside control limit. If process data is collected properly, like sampling and measurements are taken care, you can also comment about the population.
Hmm.
Standard deviation is always a positive value. Is it true or false?
False.
Yeah, false. It is just explained already. So
Standard
just
deviation
no
is
values.
always a positive value. We are, see, whether the deviation is on the right side or on the left side, it is a problem to us, am I right?
Yes.
The deviation is happening on the right side or happening on the left side, it is a failure for us. So,
I said it is always positive. Please note, it has
Okay.
no sign. When I say no sign means neither positive nor negative. Always a value. That means positive only, right? Okay.
customer wants 100 mm. If you give 95, he is going to reject. You give 105, he is going to reject. Deviation is deviation, that's all, right? So, standard deviation, there is no significance for the sign here. It should be considered as a deviation only. So, normal distribution curve is symmetrical about the center. Have you seen the curve symmetrical at the center? Is it true? I am seeing a very less participation and interest from all of you.
True.
We have been simplifying things and bringing it very simple manner to you, and you have to participate to help us for that. So normal distribution is symmetrical about the center. That means the statement is true.
True.
But the total area under the normal distribution curve is 100%. What is this? True or false?
False.
False.
Yeah, it is
Okay.
false.
Yeah, you might say false because I have shown you only up to 99.73.
73.
But the moment I say total area, total means, always when you consider everything, that is the maximum, that is the 100%.
Hmm.
Okay, sir, you can explain.
Welcome, sir.
Yes, please.
Please note what Gopal Shivakumar said was 99.73 data will be under the normal distribution curve between the 3 sigma limits. Right? Beyond that, that also under the normal distribution curve only, no? So the total area is 100, or please note, we will also use the term 1 million. As Vinod Shankar was telling, no, opportunity for error, that you can take it as 1 million. So the total area under the curve, sometimes you can take it as 1 million, sometimes you can take it as 100, sometimes you can take it as 1. When we are doing hypothesis testing and other things, in the future, you should be prepared to take this jargon. I'm going to use total area under the normal distribution curve is 1. In that case, we'll be using probabilities. Now, we are using percentage, right? If it is 100, we are using percentage. If you are using 1, we are using probabilities. If you are using 1 million, we are using DPMO. or PPM, right? Okay, thank you.
Because rejection you can express in terms of percentage, and that is why I am using percentage. If you express the rejection in terms of DPMO, then that time that will be 1 million. So you can use the normal distribution curve to understand your rejection level and acceptance level in whatever unit you want. Either you use percentage or the 100, or the total area as 1. It is up to you. Right. If control limits stay inside the specification limit, the process is considered capable or not capable.
Capable.
Very good, capable. Specification limits are provided by manufacturer or customer.
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 Control limits are calculated using customer data or process data.
Process
data.
data.
Process data. That is where data is important. For any analysis, you go to the site, go to the process, collect the sample and collect the data. Then only you get an idea about control limit. Then only you can comment about your business process capability. So what is Six Sigma? Six Sigma is a methodology to reduce the defects by reducing variation, sigma, right? To improve the performance on CTQs. And it uses two methodologies, DMAC and DMATB, depending on the requirement. Now let us see one simple example for process capability, that is sigma level. It is the ability of a business process to meet the customer's requirement. And now let us consider a business. What is this business? Swiggy. What are they doing? Are they
Food delivery.
Delivery, food delivery.
They are
Delivery.
doing food delivery. Whenever you open the app, order the food, food will be delivered. See here, this kind of commitment they have given in a particular city.
Hmm.
That a particular city or particular pin code. 30 minutes delivery, otherwise the food ordered is free. 30 minutes delivery, otherwise food order is free. Now, what is the specification limit here? What is
30 minutes.
upper specification limit is 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
What is the lower specification limit? What could be the specification limit?
Then
Can be 1 minute.
Can be 1 minute, can be 10,
Yeah.
right? Because some time is required for preparation.
Yes.
That is what coming into your mind. So
Now you go to the Swiggy restaurant and the item is in front on the table and you want it. What time it will take? 0 minutes.
all right. Anyway, let us think about the delivery. Your thinking is correct only. So I'm going to give some specification limit. Upper specification limit is 30, lower specification limit is 10. That means they are planning to deliver all the orders within 20 minutes.
Hmm.
Something goes wrong, that moment also the delivery will happen within minutes. And so none of the delivery can be a free delivery to any of the customer. If you ensure this, what will happen? You will end up making million deliveries and as well as you will lose your money also. Right? Let us understand Swiggy's capability, with respect to these specification limits. So if Swiggy can run the business process multiple times, meeting these requirements, then Swiggy's business is capable. How they made it capable? By proper networking with the hotels, by having a sufficient number of delivery boys, providing them proper vehicle, providing them the GPS system, providing them proper packaging material. All of them gave Swiggy this capability to challenge the customers that 30 minutes delivery, otherwise food is free. And this information has been visualized. Now this is specification limit. USL is 30, LSL is 10. What is the targeted delivery time? 20.
20.
Here the delivery time is important to the business. Swiggy is not responsible for the quality of the food. Swiggy is responsible for the quality of the delivery. So the CTQ here is delivery time. The targeted delivery time is 20, USL is 30, LSL is 10. So the difference between USL and LSL is called specification width. How much it is? That is also 20. 50 minus 10. Sorry, minus 10. Understood?
Yeah.
Now, a person like you, a black belt like you, was appointed to understand, to predict whether Swiggy can really make it. Because this offer has been announced for the next 1 month. Whether the next 1 month whether Swiggy is capable, is able to meet the commitment, honor the commitment or not, or how much could be the business loss. That needs to be estimated. So what will you do? Will you wait for 1 month?
We will see the last 1 month or 2 month data, what has been
If
delivered.
you want to predict the next 1 month performance with the available information about the present and past, you can try to predict the future. So some sample data, but data should be you selected carefully for the same pin code under the same conditions. Whatever deliveries happen, that data is collected, and for that data you need to calculate the average. Let us say you have got about information about 100 deliveries. From the 100 deliveries, the average delivery time is found to be X bar. How much is the X bar calculated? Calculated X bar is also found to be 20. What is the targeted delivery time? 20. What is that your data is telling? That is also 20. This is a healthy scenario for your business. What expected by the customer, what your process is performing are same. How do you understand? From the process average. Process average on the target is always a preferred scenario. Now, with 100 numbers, will you be able to calculate standard deviation? You know the formula, x minus x bar the whole square divided by n minus 1, and then take a square root. Using the formula, sigma is found to be 3.33. Now x bar is available, sigma is available, center available, standard deviation available. Will you be able to calculate control limit? Center plus 3 sigma.
Yes.
20 plus 3 times sigma. 3 times sigma is 10. 9.99 is 10. So 20 plus 10, 30. Upper control limit is 30. Lower control limit is 10. I want to know my business capability. For that, I will now compare my control limit with the specification limit. For that, I am going to overlap this graph with the previous graph. My control limit is green color. Specification limit is red color. Control limit on the left side is green color. Specification limit is red color. What is your control limit? 30. What is your specification limit? That is also 30. Correct? Similarly, lower control limit and lower specification limit both are overlapping. When control limits and specification limits are overlapping, whatever rules that are applicable to control limit are also applicable to specification limit. Am I right?
Yes.
Because both are overlapping. What do you know about the control limit? Can some of you tell me? What do you know about control limit? How much percentage of your population will lie inside control limit?
99.73.
99.73% of the deliveries are going to happen within 30 minutes and 10 minutes. 99.73% of the deliveries are going to happen within specification limit. Now tell me, what is 99.73% of, let us say in a day, Swiggy makes 1,000 deliveries. 1,000 deliveries are made by Swiggy every single day. Now, what percentage of deliveries will happen within the committed time of 10 to 30 minutes? How much you said? 99.73, right?
Yeah.
That means how many deliveries will be successful deliveries?
997.
997. So how many deliveries are failure? Almost, some 2.7. 2 or 3 deliveries are failure. Swiggy will lose money. But 997 deliveries, Swiggy will earn the money. Now tell me about your business. Is that your business is now really going good?
No, actually we have to keep the control limit less than the specification limit, correct? Because we
Don't worry about the
cannot
control
accept to
limits.
lose.
Don't worry about control limit and other things for a while. Think as a businessman now. Are you happy with your business? You are operating a delivery business in a particular pin code. Every day your people are delivering 1,000 deliveries, right? Out of the 1,997 deliveries are successful.
Yeah, so good.
Are you happy with this kind of this level of performance or not?
Yes, happy.
Happy. And now you have got the capability to serve 1,000 deliveries every single day. Since you have been doing very well, what will happen to your business?
It will increase.
It will increase.
Yes.
So within 2 or 3 months, the 1,000 deliveries might increase to, let us say 1,000 deliveries increase to 10,000 deliveries.
Yes.
Will you be able to maintain the same success rate which you have been earlier maintaining, 99.73? Will you be able to maintain the same success rate for 10,000 deliveries also?
So by expanding the resource and things, it should be possible with our
Yes,
process.
you need to expand the resource, you need to train your people. There are many things you need to do. At the same time, handling 1,000 orders a day. For example, for 1,000 orders, you have 10 people. For 10,000 orders, you have 100 people. Do you think you will maintain the same success rate? Handling 1,000 deliveries a day and handling 10,000 deliveries a day requires higher capability.
Yes.
No, you can't have the same capability and then produce the same kind of performance, because always in a longer run your capability will fall down. Always in a longer run, capability gradually goes down. So it's very important, as you already mentioned, we must aim for a better capability so that we are successful not only today but also tomorrow. We are successful not only in short term but also in long term. All right. So now let us understand, or let us think only about the short term. Let us say there are only 1,000 deliveries, and now at present the process is considered just capable. Why the process is considered just capable? And look here, your control limit and specification limits are overlapping. The specification width is occupied by the process width. The specification width is occupied by process width just capable. Suppose something goes wrong, one delivery boy takes absent, takes leave one day. What will happen? Immediately, the control limit can become wider. Something goes wrong, your control limit will go beyond the specification limit and failures will be more. So what you need to understand is, you need to understand that your control limits are occupying the specification width completely. That means you have put a very big animal in a small room, like the car and parking area example. Now I am bringing an animal. An elephant, if you put it in such a small room, do you think the elephant will stand calm and quiet in that space? Definitely. It will try to come out. Trying to come out means the control limit will start moving out of the specification limit and failures will happen. So what is required is, and higher capability is required if you want to sustain your capability. And see here right now, any delivery that is happening beyond the specification limit, this is an external failure. Whatever red color band you are seeing, a triangle you are seeing, is it an internal failure or external failure? This is external failure.
External.
It's beyond the specification limit. But in the longer run, what will happen? Suppose some delivery boys are not coming. Suppose the vehicles have become very old. There are many ways failure can happen. If such things happen, that will reflect in the average, that will reflect in the standard deviation. Right? Average what I am showing is the average is shifting. If the average is shifting, what will happen? Standard deviation also will shift. Standard deviation will also increase, and that means the control limit will shift. If the average is shifting, control limit will also shift. Now your rejections are no longer 0.27%. Now your rejections are much more than 0.27, isn't it? That is what we are seeing as 8 to 10% in most of the company. That means this capability of 3 Sigma or 3 Sigma capability is not good enough in a long run. Whatever capability you have been currently seeing in this process, this is called 3 Sigma capability. Why is it called 3 Sigma capability? You see here, your process center is here, specification limit is here. Can you find out the distance between process center and the specification limit? How much is the distance?
It's 10.
10. In terms of sigma, how many sigmas you are seeing?
3 sigma.
So this process is called 3 Sigma process. This process is called 3 Sigma process, just capable process. I'm going to give it a nickname called an elephant process. I call it an elephant process because you need to strongly register in your mind that elephant cannot stand in the same position for a longer term, right? You have to give some moving around space that is missing here. So failure is going to happen very soon. So the process can shift, process spread can increase, and ultimately the control limit will move out. When the control limit moves out, the 0.27 failure which you maintained currently will eventually become 8%, 10%, or 20%, depending on the nature of the process. So what is required is higher capability. 3 sigma capability is not good enough in the long run. And how can I gain the higher capability? Maybe I will hire a few more delivery boys. Maybe I will improvise the GPS system, or maybe I will equip them with some additional training and all those things. And that will reflect in my standard deviation. When I do this kind of improvement and collect the data again, I will be able to get my average on the target and get lower standard deviation. Earlier standard deviation was 3.33. Now standard deviation is 1.66. That means the variation is reduced to half. When the variation is reduced to half, the revised control limit can be calculated. Again, what is the formula? Average plus 3 sigma. Sigma is 1.66. 3 sigma will be equal to 5. Average is again 20. 20 plus 5, 25. 25 on the right side, 15 on the left side. And now the process is now made doubly capable. Why do I call it doubly capable? Customer has given me a tolerance of 20 USL minus LSL, but my process has occupied only half of it. Still another half is available. Something goes wrong. Some of the delivery boys are not coming up on time, or some vehicle is getting repaired. Something goes wrong. Then also I still have another cushion. I can make some alternative. Immediately another delivery boy can complete the delivery at the same point. The failure cannot go to the extent of becoming an external failure. So that is the advantage of improving the capability. And see here, as far as we, according to our understanding of normal distribution, what percentage of points will lie inside the control limit? 99.73. But now this line, your customer can tolerate up to this. That means you have improved the capability much more than 99.73, isn't it?
Yes.
Definitely this line is much more than 99.73, and exact value from the normal distribution is derived to be 99.999. That means if today 1000 deliveries are happening, how many deliveries can be successful deliveries? 99.999% of 1000. Can you tell me how much is 99.999% of 1000?
Should be as a round of value, it should be 1000.
Almost all 1000 deliveries.
1000 deliveries.
This is your today's performance. Let us say your business is running for several months. So you are currently handling 1000 deliveries. Now business improved. Every day you started delivering 10,000 deliveries. What happened? 1000 has become 10,000. And this capability of 99.999% of 10,000 will be how much? That will also be
10,000.
All 10,000 deliveries will be successful. For you to make a failure or make make a delivery which is beyond 30 minutes, the chance is very, very limited. That is what you are seeing here, 0.0001. And this is what Bill Smith and Michael Harry calling it as 3.4 DPMO. If there are 1 million deliveries, at the maximum, 3 or 4 deliveries will be a failure delivery. And now capability is increased. Capability is doubled. Earlier it was 3 sigma, now it is 6 sigma. And you can see 6 sigmas between the process average and the nearest specification limit. How much is the distance in terms of sigmas? Do you find 6 sigmas between the two lines, center line and specification limit?
Yes.
So the process is now called 6 sigma process. A 6 sigma process is doubly capable How it is doubly capable? You reduced the standard deviation. When you reduce the standard deviation, control limit was moved from specification limit towards, no, from here to here, control limit is pushed inwards.
Hmm.
As the control limits are moving inwards, more points will be moved towards the center. Many points will be approaching towards the center. When many points are approaching towards the center, your curve will start becoming taller in the center. Curve will grow in the center, right? So let me give a nickname called giraffe. Since you have grown your curve taller in the center, and at the same time the spread of the curve is reduced, it has now become very narrower. I am going to call this process a giraffe process, or you call it a Six Sigma process, or you call it a doubly capable process. And Six Sigma process, the success rate is 99.999%. And now see here, as far as this Six Sigma process, this yellow color region are the output that can come outside the control limit.
Hmm.
Here, a small portion of it goes beyond the specification limit.
Hmm.
Small portion of it goes beyond the specification limit. In case your process is shifting to the right or left, what will happen? The control limit will shift. If the control limit shifts, now what happened? Now this portion is considered the failure. Out of this portion, this area is external failure and this area is internal failure. But anyway, both are failure. For the company practicing Six Sigma, both are failure. And this is what is quantified as 3.4 dPL4, right? And to be frank, let me make it very clear. So this entire area, this red color area is considered the failure. This includes your external also, internal also.
Hmm.
That is why we were holding your the answer for the question you asked. This is not only going beyond USL.
Hmm.
Any output beyond control limit, part of it will be beyond the specification limit also. So both put together will account for 3.4.
3.4.
So now I am showing you a curve or showing a slide and looking at the nature of the curve. Tell me, is it looking like a head of the elephant or a giraffe?
Elephant.
Looks like an elephant. And statistically, what is the sigma level of this process? What is the sigma level of this process?
3 sigma.
Very good, 3 sigma, right? Center nearest to the specification limit, and you are able to see 3 sigma. So this is a 3 sigma process, just capable process. What will be the success rate of the 3 sigma process?
99.73.
99.73. But this 99.73 is a short-term success.
Hmm.
As time passes, process will shift. Process will deteriorate. You can either consider time or demand as the factor. As the time increases, capability go down. As the demand increases, capability go down. So 99.73 will definitely come down, and this is not a long-term capability. So I improve the process. Improving the process means I reduce the standard deviation. When I reduce the standard deviation, control limit will be pushed inwards. Now the curve looks like an elephant or a giraffe.
Hmm.
It looks like a giraffe, right?
Yes.
Because you can see the curve taller in the center, and moreover it is narrower. So you converted the elephant into giraffe. What is the sigma level now?
6 sigma.
6 sigma. So what kind of success rate you can expect now?
99.99.
99.9. This 99.999 is not only short term, it is long term. Even the process is shifting, even after shifting, you can see your control limits being inside the specification limit, which was not the case in the first example. When the process was shifting, immediately control limit was going beyond the specification limit. But when you make your process doubly capable, even after the shift, control limit is found to be inside the specification limit, and that's the time you will get this 3.4 and other things. See, now failure, the study or the testing can be two-tailed or one-tailed. Customer can give tolerance at both sides. Sometimes customer can give tolerance only one side, isn't it? For example, in manufacturing, the tolerance is most of the time it is two-tailed. You cross the tolerance on the right side, it's a failure. Cross the tolerance on the left side, that is also failure.
Hmm.
In this case, delivery, right side is the problem, isn't it? When the delivery
Yes.
crosses more than 30, that is a considered failure. Less than 10 minutes is not a failure actually. So
Yes.
the case what we discussed is a one-tailed study, right? So it is for one-tailed study, the success rate will be slightly higher because on the left side, failure is actually not a failure, isn't it?
Yes.
So 99.9 becomes 99.99966. If the 1 million deliveries Swiggy is making with a success rate of 99.99966%, the DPMO will be exactly 3.4.
Hmm.
Got it? Suppose if the process is manufacturing, where failures are possible at both sides, the same process, same example will lead to a DPMO of 6.8. Is that clear to all of you? All of you now understand
Yes.
Six Sigma and Six Sigma? Right. So when your process curve itself can help you understand what is going to happen. When your curve is taller, I mean wider like an elephant, that means standard deviation is too high. When standard deviation is too high, it is hard to produce output meeting customer requirements. Sigma level will be low, yield will be low, and if a DPMO will be high. Coming to the other extreme, process is narrowed and become taller in the center. You converted the elephant into giraffe. How do you know? You look at the standard deviation. No, standard deviation very little. If standard deviation is very little, virtually everything you produce will meet the customer requirement. Sigma level will be in the order of 4.5 to 6, right? And the yield will be very high. Defects will be very, very low. So this is called the Six Sigma way of problem solving. Any problem, Swiggy's delivery problem, you are manufacturing, concrete block, you are manufacturing aluminum rod, you are offering a service, right? Whatever it is, that can be easily converted into a statistical problem related to the average and problem related to the standard deviation. For us, as black belts and as statistician, everything is a number, that's all. It is a problem to a company, but for us, it is a number. And the number, we can make it into average and make it into standard deviation. What is the requirement? Average should be on the target. Standard deviation should be as little as possible. And your results will be great. This is called, Six Sigma way of problem solving. Real-time problem converted into statistical problem. For statistical problem, statistical solution is derived from the normal distribution. And how do we derive it? How do we make it happen? By practical solution. So every time this approach is followed, results are guaranteed. And success is frequent, failure is very rare with the Six Sigma methodology. Other methodology, success is rare, but failures are frequent, right? We need to make a wise choice. This is why we need to respect the methodology. DMAC, define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. Define means express why in terms of numbers. That means identify the CTQ, CTB, and select the project, form team formation, get your project charter approved, have a proper business case. All of them are the activities you need to do in the define phase. Measure phase, you must collect the data without measuring.
CTB stands for critical to business.
Yeah. CTB stands for critical to business. Correct. And in the analyze phase, you need to analyze the data so that you identify and validate the root cause. In the improve phase, you generate solution and you pilot the solution and then validate the improvement. And finally, in the control phase, you create a control plan so that the solution is sustained for a longer period of time. And this is what is we broke down the phases into 3 simple steps. So 5 phases, 3 steps each, totally 15 steps. This is what you are going to learn over the next 5 days. 3 steps for every phase. If you master each and every step and understand the deliverables from each step and learn the tools and techniques that are required to perform the steps correctly, then you are a black belt. That's it, right? So these are the 15 steps, and course material will be emailed to you. You can have a go through of it, and then you will be learning the steps one by one. So the benefit is company's revenue will improve, cost will go down, resource utilization efficiency will improve. Importantly, people will become very effective. This is what is very important. This is